Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Forbidden Radio, Season 3, Episode 4. We are here with a returning guest from Season 2, Arlo Graves. Welcome, Arlo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming back. That means we didn't completely scare you away last time.
No, not at all. We had a great conversation about video games and it was awesome.
It was awesome. And I had a different co host last time. I'm not sure if you remember.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
Because usually, okay,
Yeah,
technically, there's three hosts on this podcast. It's me, Luke, who's here now, and
Yeah.
Noah. And last time that we talked to you, it was me and Noah, because Luke couldn't join for that day. And then now Noah's busy at work, and so it's just me and Luke.
Well, hello, Luke. It's lovely to meet you.
it's lovely to meet you too. I see all your stuff on threads all the time.
Oh God. I'm trying. I'm trying to have a social media presence.
I know it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. Not my greatest gift, but I'm trying.
No, I was really diligent about it for a long time, and now it's not so focused.
Yeah.
Well, I for one love
So,
threads.
yes, yes, your daily water reminders brighten my morning.
Okay, that's good. Good, they're not in vain.
No, it does
I
remind
I
me
I
to drink water.
I don't know if this will need to get cut out of the podcast or not, but I loved the one about writing down the story ideas on pieces of toilet paper because you forgot the phone. I'm like, oh, that is
Oh my
so
god,
relatable.
I just posted that one earlier.
Like, dude,
Jesus.
so relatable.
I forget that people can actually see what I post sometimes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so please excuse anything that you've seen on there that it might be
No, it's
unseemly.
great.
Okay.
No, don't excuse it. Go follow him.
Yes. Oh yes, I do. I do.
Oh lord. Okay, enough about threads. We're here to talk about Arlo's new novel coming out June 17th, right?
Yeah.
And it is called The Ice Moves for No One,
Yes.
which amazing cover. Love that.
Thank
Um
you.
Me and Luke were speaking about it a little bit before you joined, because he wasn't here the last time that we talked about it, so he doesn't really know what it's about, and I am probably not the person to explain it. So if you could go ahead.
Well, boy, howdy. I'm not sure if I'm the person to explain it either, but I will do my best.
I believe
So
in
the
you.
ice, thank you. The Ice Moves for No One is the first book in a trilogy, which will be the Dusking Saga. That is a word that I historically cannot pronounce, and I'm probably not going to get better at it. Um, but a Duskinger is either a ship or a person that travels through a kind of a nowhere space called the Sval. We don't need to get into that. The book follows a Selkie warrior named Thalin, who has dreamed her entire life of competing in this giant tournament, which, if she's one of the top finishers, she'll get to crew that airship. And or there's six of the airships. She'll get a chance to join the fleet. And the story follows her life after things don't go the way she imagined they would. It's that kind of story, and
It sounds
it
really
has
interesting.
it's been really fun to work in. It's in incredible like it's incredibly fun. There's so many things, so many characters and weird technologies. It's also incredibly challenging, but in like a really good way. Um,
Love a good
I
challenge.
keep telling my editor I think I'm going to be a different person by the time I'm on the other side of the trilogy. So like the first book is just about to come out. I've written a companion novella. I've written the second book, and the second book will need reworking. I'm one of those writers who like writes draft after draft after draft in order to get it to where it needs to be. A lot of things get shuffled around. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm really convinced that by the time the third book is finished and out in the world, that it will have changed me as a human. It's such a big undertaking. And yeah, I can tell it's like changed me already. And like I don't know if it's a good way or at least a neutral way. It's definitely and I'm
Well,
learning
at least
things. I'm
it's
gonna
not
be
a
a better
bad way.
writer. Yeah, no, definitely not a bad way. It's just it's hard. I'm pulling from a lot of personal pain, we'll say. And
Gotcha.
there's a lot of humor in the stories, but there's also a lot of difficult things that I've put into them. So I think that's the part that makes it neutral rather than just purely good. I do have some moments of writing things that I sit back and go, oh god damn it. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I was in the process of writing my third horror novella, and it was
Ooh,
a draft that I had started like 10 years ago, and I picked it back up again, and I was like, oh, I was in a much darker place back then. And
yeah.
just going through all of those old emotions and stuff like that. Like I had to put the book down for a little while because I was like, I need to think about this. I've come to some realizations about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure looking back at old pieces, it's like it captures that old version of you, and you're like speaking to yourself in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, and this project, the character I gave her um more or less for all intents and purposes the same autoimmune disease that I have and the same kind of fear arc that I had to go through with that, not understanding what's happening. No, it was hard, but I'm like I'm glad I wrote it, and I really enjoy working with her as a character. She is like me, but she's not like me, and that's been really fun.
So do you put a lot of yourself in all of your characters, or is this one just special?
Don't tell her she's special. She would that would go right to her head. Um, I think I end up in all of them. The My partner keeps has made a joke several times about the main character of this project and her future girlfriend as being he's like inside you there are two lesbians, one of them is chronically ill and the other one is neurodivergent and they're in love. But it's really stupid. But I think I end up in all of the characters, even the really shitty ones for sure, especially probably especially the shitty ones.
Oh God, it's so real.
But because I gave her or based her physical struggles a lot on things I've actually experienced, I just feel like it's like there's moments where it's just too close to home and it's uncomfortable,
Oh, I bet.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense.
But yeah, don't tell her she's special. That would not be good for her.
Your secret's
All
safe
right,
with us. Don't worry about that.
she's just
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
She's
she's just
just
Sound
okay.
okay.
Just a regular
She's
old main
fine.
character. Yeah,
Yeah, she's fine.
nothing too special.
No.
So, how long have you been working on this book, or the trilogy as a whole?
I started it in 2021 as a novelette,
Hmm.
and so it was about 15,000 words. And I had met this absolutely amazing uh, fantasy author, fantasy and romance, um, named Lillian Cernica. And we met in a Safeway parking lot of all places. And the only reason we met is because she commented on my coat. But now we're friends. And she read it and she started asking me all these questions like, well, are there performance enhancing drugs in this tournament? And like,
Hmm.
who is sponsoring this tournament? And where do the airships go? And just so many questions. And it just kind of it allowed me to kind of unfold the story bit by bit into a very large undertaking. And then when I queried the first book, I queried it as a duology. I figured there's going to be two books. And when the publisher picked it up, that's Quills and Cosmos, they asked me if I might be willing to make it a trilogy. And I was like, well, I'm not really sure how to do that. I've never done a trilogy. Um, if my editor can help me kind of see what that might look like plot wise. and the editor was very good at showing me what that might look like. And it's allowed me so much more space to let the characters and the themes expand that I think trilogy was the right move for sure. So that was really cool.
Well, that's great. Shout out to Quills and Cosmos for making you, forcing you to do the trilogy. Then
Yeah,
worked
they're
out in the end.
awesome. They're great. They're really wonderful to work with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And crazy luck on meeting your author friend in a parking lot.
Oh, it was so unhinged. Like we've definitely come to the understanding that Safeway parking lots are just sort of this bizarre liminal space where fate aligns or something.
Twilight
It was
Zone.
even it was even weirder than that. Right before meeting her, I had been having dinner with my partner just in tears because I felt like I wasn't going anywhere as an author. I had no traction, I had no direction, I didn't know what to do, I didn't know who to submit my work to. And then was walking from a restaurant to CVS and met this author in the Safeway parking lot. And later we met for tea. And she walked me through all these resources that I had no idea existed, like number one being Duotrope, um, where you can find publishing opportunities and agents, like who's looking for what when. And it was just such a game changer. I made my first professional sale not terribly long after that because of her.
Wow,
So
that's
like if
awesome.
anyone's responsible for my like weird writing being in the world, it's Lillian.
Shout out to Lillian if
Yeah,
she ever
huge shout
hears
out to
this.
Lillian.
What would you say was your greatest challenge writing this novel?
Greatest challenge writing this one. Probably just having to take so many steps back from some of the situations and just like calming down. There's very funny moments. Like it's definitely not an upsetting read, I don't think, but there are some moments that were just I pulled them from my own experiences, and that might have something to do with the character's disability, or it might have to do with a relationship she had with a an employer. I was just very inspired by
Right, right.
a few key things, and some of them like in like the real life parallels really sucked. So like creating that space between them and me and being able to say, okay, this is a creative outlet. It's not really cathartic, it's more painful, but like
Oh god.
being able to like understand that I'm creating space between myself and those things. It's a challenge, but I think I'm hopeful that real emotion and relatable struggles come through. That's the hope.
I'm sure they will. I feel
Yeah,
like anytime
and
you
you never.
pull. Sorry, go ahead, Luke.
I was just gonna say, like, and you never know among your readers, like, who really like they come in for entertainment and they leave like learning something about themselves or seeing something in one of the characters and like being recognized as like, oh, like I know this story because it's kind of mine, and
Yeah.
getting really attached to the characters because of that.
Yeah, I had a wonderful experience reading um forgive me if I get the title or the author's name pronunciation wrongs here, but the book is Reflections of Lelia Damselfly. And I probably just butchered that poor nymph's name, but she's a water nymph, and the author is Natalie Kelda, I believe. Again, I'm not looking at these, so I'm kind of pulling them out of the ether. But I read that book and I saw so much of my own experience in the character. It was so emotional. I cried like the whole way through, but it was so beautiful. And just being able to see that in a character, in a fantasy, and having this like beautiful ending, that was really cathartic. So I'm hoping that perhaps along the way there might be like there might if there's even one reader that can feel similarly for the Ice Moose for No One, I feel like I've done a good job.
And I'm sure there will be. I feel like even if they haven't had something that's exactly like what you or the character went through or are going through, I'm sure there's some sort of like ability to relate to the emotional scenes.
I hope so. Yeah. A lot of it's really about there's a lot of found family themes
Mm.
and finding yourself, which I think are pretty universal.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like those are pretty common, but because they hit the hardest for a wide audience of people.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to, and you don't have to do any spoilers for the book, but what is the setting of your book like? I mean, from the feel of the book, it's very steampunky. I hope that I'm not way off base with that.
No, totally. So it's like I am just like pure vibes, and that might be I think it's a cool thing. But the vibes for the setting are 1930s tech meets kind of Nordic inspired Viking flavor. Think shape-shifting lesbian sky Vikings is my like joke tagline. Um,
That's a great
the
tagline.
ships are in the sky, not in the water. Um, and then there's some very uneven technology floating around because their world, their country, Runesfalla, is very close to a different realm, and they can't get to that other realm, but things come through, so they end up with technology like laptops and iPads, and they have kind of an understanding of how to use these things. Some characters a lot more than others, and they of course they have no internet.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got quite a range of tech, but it's definitely leaning more like gas lamp fantasy opposed to steampunk. There's not a lot of steam tech, but there's big like long haul trucks. There's a mountain range that may or may not be a mechanical god. Um, of course, the airships. I'll just keep saying airships, airships, airships.
We love airships
Very
here,
very
don't we?
1930s. Yeah. So kind of like I mean I love steampunk, like let's be honest. Like I was pulling very heavily from like Legend of Korra slash Arcane. Um yeah, little Viking vibes thrown in.
Well, I think
I
it sounds
definitely see
awesome.
the Viking vibes in the cover. When I was first
Yeah.
looking at the cover, I was like, "Is this a steampunk fantasy novel? Like, what's going on?" That sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
kinda. Yeah, they have magic and the characters are Selkies, humans, and Holdra for the most part. So Selkies and Holdra are both originally from Nordic mythology, but the I feel like I've misled a couple of the early readers. The pantheon of deities and spirits are not based in Norse mythology. They're all original and have incomprehensible names.
I
Very
love a
cool.
good
Do you?
unique pantheon, though. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like you've got a lot of depth to the world building in your story. Have you ever found yourself getting lost in the world building and kind of like working on a system in the world, and then you realize that it's not really going to be applicable to the story at all?
Ooh, I'm almost the opposite, and I'm gonna do a really probably terrible job explaining this, but um, I really wrote this project character first, and a lot of the world building has happened in rewrites and rewrites and rewrites. Um, Moving backwards from them. Now, all that said, I have been working on the gods and the magic system. That's far older than this particular story. Like, that's a whole separate thing that started in 2016 when I was like too sick to do much besides sit on a computer and make crap up. So I made up a bunch of crap. Um, but as far as how the world building interacts with this particular setting, which is one realm of many, um, a lot of that has been kind of reverse engineered off of the character journeys, if that makes sense.
That does make
Maybe,
sense.
maybe, maybe a little bit of what you said earlier, though. It's kind of coming from both directions. There is a lot of deep world building, but then I've also built the world and the setting as kind of mirrors for the characters in a way. Yeah, never mind. It's coming from both directions.
Okay,
No,
well,
that
then
totally
in a
makes sense,
similar
though.
vein,
I mean,
have you ever found yourself overwriting a character, like their backstory or something like that?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I actually worry that I underwrite.
Really?
Yeah. Um, or I'll just put their backstory in one chapter, and thank goodness my editor is like, how about we break that up and let's expand let's ask some more questions back there. Um, I don't know, I really have to put characters on a page and write them interacting and moving around in the world to start to understand them, and then they often tend to reveal their backstories organically through that.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I am definitely an overwriter as far as length. My work usually gets cut down
Oh,
quite a
yikes.
bit, like without even necessarily losing story elements. I just am very wordy the first few times around. But yeah, I don't know. I think my characters are more at risk of being underexplored, and I have to deliberately, I mean, maybe not the main character, but I definitely have to kind of go back through and think like, all right, in this draft, I'm going to work on this character more and think about like what he's up to or something like that.
So you said you do a
I
lot of
gotcha.
drafts, or do you mean like you completely write the entire novel and then just rewrite it, or do you like
Yes.
keep large chunks? Like I'm sure you keep like most of it, but
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, a little bit of option A, a little bit of option B. Sometimes like so I'll write a zero draft and then
right.
I'll write a first draft, and I usually have several documents open, and I'll pull maybe like 5 pages at a time from it. And yeah, oh my God, yeah, sometimes I'm throwing away everything but the structure, and then sometimes something works right from the beginning. Um, and that's always cool when that happens.
Oh yeah, I can imagine how
And
satisfying it is just copying it over and being like,
yeah,
yeah, that
that's the
works, that
best.
fits
Like with
perfect.
something, if something makes it from draft zero all the way through, like, damn, that is satisfying. Um, but yeah, no, sometimes I really do just I mean, I don't throw anything away. I just move it to like the recycle draft, and sometimes it comes back in a later draft. But I'm trying to keep these are very action heavy books, and so a lot of times I will end up moving around big set pieces to keep it more like exciting or faster paced. So yeah, the drafts don't usually get rewritten in the same order. Um, it's a process. It's a process, but I work pretty quickly through each draft. I just very much have to have like I think 12 is kind of like 8 to 12 is kind of the minimum that I have to go through a longer length story in order for it to feel like it's mostly baked. Otherwise, there's usually like squishy chunks in there that just aren't structurally sound.
Right. And are you sending all of these drafts to an editor first, or are you just like picking and choosing what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work?
No, yeah, usually like the editor usually gets it maybe around, ooh, so for book two, I think they're going to be getting it around draft four.
Gotcha.
Because I had a pretty good idea of how the first half of the book is structured going in. And then they'll give me a developmental edit, and big things might get moved around after that, or they might have a completely different idea, like, hey, what if you did this? And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's perfect. That's better, etc. Um, but for like, I'm working on a novella length piece for the same world right now, and I think the editor got it at like version thick.
Mm,
Um, And then there's like within those, there's like version like 5.5 or 4.5, where it's like I didn't do a complete rewrite, but I went in and added like a specific element. So like
right.
there's so many drafts.
And that
I
novella, do
I
you have
I do
a release
something.
date for that? Sorry, Luke.
It's okay.
I think we just
Your
I
novella.
didn't
Do you
catch
have a?
either.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll do Angels and then I'll do mine. Is there
Go
a
ahead.
specific release date or of that novella?
I'm not sure yet. We're gonna stagger it a little bit because it has spoilers for the first book. So we're gonna let the first book get out into the world for a little while, and then then put it out there. Because there's definitely some things you probably should read the first book before you read the novella, even though the novella is a prequel.
Oh, I get that. I get that. And then I was gonna say I couldn't keep track of that many drafts. What I tend to do is I write a rough draft and then I open up a like an empty document and I just read through and I'm like, okay, I'll keep this. And I'm like, all right, we got to rewrite this now and just drop it back and forth. And then that next draft, becomes the new draft and I just delete the old one.
That's honestly like so cool. Like, I don't know. I keep everything, and it's been ridiculous where I have reused things. Sometimes I reuse things that are like 10 years old. I'm like, you know what? We can upcycle this. Um, so yeah, I save everything. I have so many drafts. Like my debut book, I think had 24 separate drafts
Oh,
to get it
jeez.
to the final product. And I don't know, that's just kind of like the way I'm rolling at this point. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna have all these drafts. I've got to be really careful how I label them though, because at one point I didn't label them correctly and I was doing advanced editing in like a shitty draft. That was
Oh god.
ridiculous. So like label your drafts correctly, folks.
See, that's my problem. I always forget to name my documents, so I just have like hundreds of untitled documents, and I have to go through every time and try to find what I'm looking for.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's probably my worst
It's so
habit.
terrible.
It's like personal hell.
Literally, I dread going through my Google Docs.
Oh man, yeah, that would drive me insane. I would just probably end up deleting them all. Like I can't deal with this
I
ever.
need to do that. I need to clean that out. Some spring cleaning is heavily required. Also, though, the thing with me is I'll write like when I'm working on a project, I'll write the stuff anywhere, like on my phone. In like if I'm at school, I'll just jot it down in my notebook, and then I'll forget where I left it. Like I'll be like, okay, I remember writing
Oh
this scene, but
no.
I don't know if it's on my phone or if it's in my notebook or if it was on a piece of paper or if I did it on the computer, and so then I have to go and search, try to find what I'm
Oh
looking for.
no. I've had an unexpected uh thought organizer come into my life. I lost part of the use of my right arm, which is the arm that I would normally hold a pen with and write a bunch of notes. And I can still hold a pen, I can write.
Right.
But if I do it for more than like 3 to 5 minutes, my arm just like malfunctions. It doesn't want to do it anymore. So I have an electronic notebook, basically like tablet, keyboard situation, and I lug that around with me for note taking.
Mm.
And that's been a lifesaver because now all of my crazy uh like middle of the night thoughts are all in this one location. But I have to remember to take it with me because then if I don't take it with me, I'm back to like texting myself and
Oh,
writing
that's
Yeah,
on.
smart.
I've been there. So like I have to do something similar where like I have a notes app on my phone and that's what I use when I don't have like something else available and I'll write notes on it that I've woken up from some sort of dream in the middle of the night and then not remember making the note and then look back like weeks later and I'm like I don't even know what does this mean?
Yeah, just incoherent
Oh,
rambling.
absolutely.
Like for example, I was
Yeah,
pulling this up.
absolutely.
Uh, I have a note on here. It says two fish, a carrot, a fork, and a fork solve all your problems.
I mean, that sounds like a fire opening line. I won't lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just need to create a story around that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
keep
No.
them because I'm hoping that they get inspiring. At some point in time, I'm going to remember what this means.
Oh, surely.
I love the mystery. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going through my notes app right now, and it's such a mess. It's like,
Oh
though there's
no.
some where it's like story ideas, and it's just like one sentence, and then the next one is like a completely different story idea with no context. It's awful. I need to become more organized.
Yeah, the chaos on my phone, I'm fine with. I can't have that kind of chaos on my computer. I would die.
I mean,
I
I've
need
got
to know
everything in
everything
like
about it.
neat little folders. Like it's not just spread all over the like the desktop. Like I've got nice little organized
Oh, I
folders
believe
and
you.
then you open them and it's just folders inside folders inside folders inside fold. It's
Oh God.
folderception. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that's the smart way
I
to
have
do
no
it,
doubt
right?
about it.
My problem is I'll make a
Yeah,
folder and then I'll just forget to put the stuff in there.
Oh.
So I go in the folder and there's like one or two documents and everything else is just scattered around.
Oh no.
Angel, we need an intervention.
Dude, we do. This is awful. I'm going through my docs right now and the amount of untitled documents is insane.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll get to it
Yeah,
someday.
I've
there
got a
needs to
little like
be.
a whole system.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
hire
that
an
I believe.
assistant.
You need to go to Angel's computer and like kind of do like a hoarders episode on his computer.
Yeah, actually,
I
yeah.
mean, that I used to be an event manager, and organizing ridiculous amounts of data and people was my job. So I could take a crack at it.
That sounds
Oh,
Probably
like
that
my
makes total
personal hell.
sense.
organize it. Yeah.
Anybody that can keep track of 24 drafts of the same story has to be like hyper organized, and
Yeah, oh
I can
yeah.
totally see that.
I was like, don't look at my office. Like, it is organized. I know where every single thing is, but
Right,
if,
right, right.
my goodness, if it is not incomprehensible to someone from the outside.
Oh, I totally get that. There's a lot of like, I have a workbench and my tools have no discernible order to anybody else. But
Yeah.
if you move it,
Yeah.
my hand will go to grab it and it will not be there. I'll be like, who took my fucking tool?
Yeah, you have a
You know,
system.
yeah, you know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
You need something, you know
Like, I
exactly
know
where to
exactly.
look.
If the corner of the bench is right here by my hip, I just have to reach out 2 feet and I'll be able to grab this wrench.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't move my stuff.
I'm gonna go into your shop and just move everything slightly.
I do that to everybody else because I'm a jerk.
No.
That's evil.
Yes,
That is
I
evil.
go up to one of my coworkers' benches and I will move like one of her tools like one spot over and then listen to her
No.
yell about who used my tool, didn't put it back where it belongs.
No.
Yeah, you're a
Yep, and
menace.
then
Fighting words.
I'm just a menace. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I gotta have some way to entertain myself.
That's fair. Keep yourself sane at work.
Yep, by driving everybody else crazy. I'm very toxic. Wow, self-realization.
Self realization live on the podcast. Luke is evil.
Not evil, just a jerk.
Okay, anyways, back to the book. Where is this for sale at? Where can the people buy?
It is good. It is going to be for sale everywhere on June 17th. And I know it's going to be available in some bookstores as well, like physically in bookstores. I just cannot name them off the top of my head. I don't know which ones are going to order it for sure or not.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from, oh no, I'm not looking at it. Am I going to be able to remember it? Underdog Books down south, and again, I'm on the spot. Oh no.
No, it's fine.
Word Horde, Word Horde Emporium in Petaluma is going to have it. There's going to be like way more than that. Those are just the two that I know are going to stock it.
Right. Well, if
That's
you have any
awesome,
like
and it's
links or
available for
stuff, we'll put
pre-order.
it down.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's available from like all of the places you would order books online. It should be on just about all of those, like Apple, Amazon, I'm not handling this. I'm like, who are the others? I know there's others, but I am
Barnes and Noble
blanking on
for
who they
sure. I
are.
know because I'm looking at it on my screen right now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and Amazon for sure because I just pre-ordered it myself.
Oh, thank
But
you. Yeah,
you're welcome.
it's gonna.
I mean, you sold me.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I am very proud of it. It's I if you follow my ridiculous social media presence, I definitely have nervousness because I'm like, this is it's got a lot of action, but it's very much a character story, and she gets knocked down a lot. She gets up. I'm very proud of the ending. I think it's to me it's a very triumphant ending. But I definitely oh I watch people pick it up and I'm like, I wonder what you're gonna think. I wonder what you're gonna think. But I am very proud of it, and it is the first in a trilogy. And seeing the character kind of figure herself out and hit a stride in the second book has been so fun.
Well, that's awesome. I'm happy
Yeah,
for
very
you. I
cool.
mean that nervousness is like it's normal, right? It's part of being an author. Anytime someone even talks about your work, you're like, "Oh god, like what are they going to think? Is it good enough?" type of thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
I think the fact that you feel
Well,
proud of it is a good sign because you know, whenever you feel proud of something that you've created, that kind of makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it, and I'm gonna be very proud to put the completed trilogy out. I know how it ends, and I'm really stoked about the ending.
Well, that's awesome. Can't
that's
wait to
awesome.
read them.
Yeah, I can't wait to read it. And I get that
Thank
nervousness
you.
too. For me, it's a little bit different, the nervousness, because I write horror books, and like there are people that I work with that found out that I write them, and they're like, "Oh, can I buy a copy?" I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
You sure this is for you?
Right? Oh my gosh, yeah.
See,
Yeah, I have made some money writing let's call it monster romance. Uh
mm.
that's polite. That's rated PG, right? Monster
Right, right.
romance. And people are like, "What are you writing right now?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to tell you, coworker. That is not your business."
Yeah, that is not for you to know.
Yeah,
You
no,
never
don't even
know.
think about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Like writing what writing? Who I don't write.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I don't like horror. The only reason why I buy Luke's books is to support my friend, but other than that, I stay away from
Aw.
horror.
I need to check out your horror. I love horror. I also write. I mean, I don't know if my horror is horror or if it's just unsettling, weird crap, but I'm putting a note on my calendar. I need to check out your horror.
I would
See,
appreciate that. There's two of them:
Yeah.
a creature feature and a parasite horror. The parasite horror is
Ooh,
not everybody's cup of tea.
that is gonna scare the shit out of me. Like I don't that's probably not for me. I am scarred forever from The Wrath of Khan. I watched that way too young with the things that crawl into people's ears.
Oh, yeah, this one's called the Swanson Fly Project, and if you don't like that, you won't like this.
Okay. What's your creature feature?
The other one is called Blood on the Snow. It's about 5 hunters in Alaska that piss off the wrong cryptid.
That's right up my alley. That sounds great.
There you go. That's pretty much. But if the sales numbers are any indication, that's more everybody's cup of tea.
I
see,
mean,
and
like I
from
love the like please don't take my opinion like my squeamishness as a anything about the book. I just parasites are they scare me so bad.
Oh, they do. They scare me too, and that's why writing the book was so difficult.
Oh,
Because I'm
I
like, what's
bet.
the worst thing? What's the worst thing I could think of? Oh yeah, we'll do that, and I hate it.
Yeah, oh.
But no, I no offense taken whatsoever. I've had several people that bought my first book and loved it say absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I will not be reading about bioengineered parasites going into a small town.
what? See, and I'm more excited for that one. I bought Blood on the Snow, but that type of stuff I feel like is not up my alley. But Swanson Fly Project, I've been so excited to get it. It's been sitting in my Amazon cart, and I'm getting paid this Friday, so I'm gonna definitely buy
Yeah.
There you go. You better
that. I will, and I'll
get
leave
it.
a review too. Don't worry.
Get me sales. Buy Arlo's book too. That's the whole reason that they're here.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm hovering this pre-order, but my bank account is refusing.
Oh no. I'm adding it
Well,
to my cart
yeah.
right now.
When
I like physical books, so I'm
Oh,
putting
me
the physical
too.
book back.
I can't read on a screen.
yeah, that's the only. Well, I've been forbidden from buying more books until I read some of the ones that I have.
Gotcha. I need someone to forbid me for
I
that same
oh
reason.
I am almost through my TBR list. I'm so slow. I'm like comically dyslexic
Mm.
and I'm just such a slow reader, but I'm like two and a quarter books from being to the end of where my TBR is at the moment, and then I can build another one. And
Oh,
I'm
Rebuild
like,
it
oh
even
man, it's
bigger
taking
this
me so
time.
long to get there.
I think I have like 25 books on my TBR right now, and it
Oh
just got
god.
one longer.
You guys don't want to
Oh my
know how many
goodness.
books are on my TBR.
I I hope the recording doesn't cut off. I just like automatically closed my laptop for a second there.
No, I think you're
Just
fine.
autopiloted.
Just the revulsion.
We're good. We're good.
Are you in triple digits, Angel?
um, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, jeez.
Um, okay, I'm gonna have to count them after this, maybe, but because I have a whole shelf right here next to me. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves on it. I think I've only read the books on the top shelf, and the
Oh
rest are
my
all
god.
unread. And then I have
Oh
a,
my
a like a
god.
milk crate right here full of books that I just have not read.
Oh my god. I thought
Yeah.
my TBR was bad when I had 6 books on it, okay?
No, see, my issue is I love buying books and I love having books. I love seeing my shelf full. That's one of my favorite things. But I'm just such a slow reader because ADHD, and like I'll start reading and halfway through the page I'll realize I have not been paying attention to the book and I gotta go back and reread it.
Oh no.
Or like if I'm like a
I
couple chapters into a book and I'll be like, you know what? This other book sounds cooler. I'm gonna start that one. And so I just
Oh
have
my
unfinished
goodness.
books everywhere.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I will say that I have to do that because I will be reading something and I'll be like, "Ooh, shiny," and I'll pick up another book and start reading that. I
Yep.
have so many books with bookmarks in them.
Oh my god, me
That's the
too.
Oh,
problem.
I think the
I'm
only thing
pretty
I
good
buy
at
more than
sticking
books is
to.
bookmarks.
Oh no. I'm pretty good at sticking to one at a time, but I do tandem read periodically. I'll read two at the same time, especially if I'm reading something that's really emotionally difficult. I'll read something
Mm,
lighter at the same time so that I'm
kind of
not reading
balance
the
it
really
out.
intense one. Yeah, right before
Yeah, yeah.
bed. I'm thinking about the parasite one and I'm like, oh my God, I could read that like when I first get out of bed in the morning. Like that'd be okay. But if I read it anywhere close to when I go to sleep, I am going to be tormented.
You would be tormented. I did have one of my readers or one of my friends. They bought it and read it, and they said that gave her nightmares.
Oh god.
Which success?
Yeah, success,
Mission
you did it.
accomplished. You know,
I'm looking at the
ironically,
cover right now. I love the centipede.
oh, the cover's
Oh, so
amazing.
yeah,
I love that cover.
yeah. So that's the first one that I actually hired my own cover artist. The first cover for Blood on Snow I did on Canva, and then
It looks
a an
great.
indie author, yeah, an indie author in England did that one. So my first cover is way different. If you go to my Goodreads, you'll see the original cover because I haven't figured out how to change it. But
Okay.
a nice indie author did like their version of my cover, and they're like, "You can use it if you want." And I was like, "All right, bet."
Whoa, that's
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
And then the second one, I actually hired a cover artist in Luxembourg, and she did the cover for me, and she's great.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I love centipedes and bugs. I have a huge centipede tattooed on my arm. I just don't want it like inside my arm. On the arm is fine.
Right.
Just
No,
not under the skin.
Yeah, no.
yeah, no, the bugs are cool, dude. I went to an event in my city the other day where they have like uh reptiles and like other animals, and they let you
Ooh.
hold them, and I held this enormous millipede. Like I had never seen a bug this big, and I have a video of it crawling up my arm, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, how cool. Is it one of the ones with like the really dark exoskeleton?
Yes.
I think I don't they're not like super huge, but we have something like that here. They get about 6 or 7 inches long. They're so
Whoa.
docile. I love them.
Oh yeah, super chill. Definitely didn't go
Yeah.
in my skin, which I
No,
appreciated.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to your stories.
Right.
After getting off track, just a little bit off track. So you said what's the name of your trilogy?
The Duskinger Saga.
The Dusking
And
Saga. I know you said it, I just
I
couldn't
I
remember it.
make a million like I just figured out how to make Instagram shorts and I realized that I one still have remnants of a speech impediment that I have been through so many speech therapy classes to get rid of, and that I also cannot say half the words that I put in my own fantasy
Oh
book
god.
because I imagine someone with a different accent than I have saying these words, but
Mm.
Duskinger is close enough. It's like I based it on like off of another word that I can't say, Vikingir. I can't do the end right, but so just we're just gonna call it the Duskinger Saga.
I mean, that's totally fair. So like we have a linguist that we work with at Forbidden Origins. And I just asked him the other night. I was like, "Hey, I need a character's name from like this planet, and I knew you've been working on like how they name their people and stuff like that. Could you just hit me up?" And he went into this very like he researched it and he gave me like a list of names and told me how to pronounce all of them and stuff like that. And I picked the one that was my favorite. I still can't pronounce it correctly, but I like it.
I love that for you. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know
I
you're a
mean, hey,
fantasy or sci-fi author when you can't pronounce half the words you write.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's a real language behind it. Part of that world building that started in 2016 is there's like a whole language that I know how the language works. Tons of work went into that. Like I know like how many cases it has and the like how many grammatical genders and that it conjugates for the noun conjugates for place and time rather than the verb. Like it's a whole
Mm.
thing. And then I'm like, my friend is currently making the visual for it because I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And then I'm like, I can't pronounce it. I can write the words. I can't say them, but I can make them work. And the grammar structure functions. It's like it's a realistic language. I can't speak it. Sorry.
Amazing in
I
theory,
mean that
not
makes
so
me
amazing in practice. Gotcha.
yeah, that just makes me more excited to read your books because I mean I can tell by how like you've been talking like how organized you are and how much heart and how much work you've put into like building this world. And I love shit like that. I mean, I write horror novellas, so I don't do a whole lot of world building in those, but for the fantasy and sci-fi series I'm working on, I try to do the same thing. And I just love that kind of stuff. It's nice when there's a fully fleshed out world, even if you don't get to see all the different parts of it yet, that it feels lived in.
Thank you. Yeah, I really hope it does. Like it does to me, of course, because I live there. But yeah, like the language is a real functioning language. You'll get very little of it in the first book, but all the deities are named in the Zolic language, and the old words that from forgotten things and places are all based on the Zolic language and the history of the gods. Then so much of it, I don't even know if it will make it into the trilogy at all, but it's there. It's there as a foundation if it's needed.
No, that's awesome.
So
And
do
you
you
said you did this all by yourself, the whole language?
So yeah, I did the language. I'm drawing heavily. I speak German, so I'm drawing heavily from German and Icelandic and Swedish, and then just like vibes on top of that. Everything I do is on vibes.
Love that.
Um, and then my best friend is an artist. I have zero visual skills, and they are so talented. So they're putting together the Zolic runic alphabet for me. So
Ooh,
someday
that's
when
awesome.
there's art of the big airships, they can have their names like painted on the sides in the bind runes.
That's
I
awesome.
I
Big
really
fan of
hate that.
runes.
I hate how I can see these very vivid pictures in my head, and then I tell my hands to do it, and they just refuse. Like, no, what is
Yeah,
that?
no, yeah, no. I picture everything in these like really vibrant cartoon, like animated sequences, and I cannot bring that to life visually in any capacity.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But I know some really cool artists, so there's that.
Yeah, that's what we have friends for. Here too at Forbidden or Forbidden Origins, we have a lot of artists who are really talented. So I'm very thankful for them
Oh
because
my
I
God, I
can't do
know.
anything.
I've been seeing like little like video clips that looks awesome.
Oh yeah,
Oh, so
we
the video clips, those are all Armani.
yeah, which I don't know when or how he finds the time to do that because he runs the company. He is writing a 5 book series and he has a family. And I'm like, dude, how do you have time
Oh
to
my
sit down and
God.
animate these
He's
like awesome videos?
I mean, it looks incredible. I'm like, please show TV series when.
He's working
But
on that too.
damn,
He is working on
but
that
damn,
too.
he's
Yeah.
gotta have like some kind of a little like magical pocket watch so that he can live the same day like 5 times to do all the things.
Right.
I think his secret is severe sleep deprivation.
Yeah,
Oh
probably.
no.
Because there has definitely been times when he has like messaged me on Discord at like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, I
Unfortunately,
know.
I am also up because I have
Oh
insomnia.
no.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, he's in a different time zone as me, so he's always hours ahead. And sometimes I'll text him when it's late for me, and I'm like, oh, well, he'll see it in the morning. And then he just replies instantly. And I'm like, sir, you should be asleep.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, nope, just hit me up whenever. I'll respond. I'm
yeah,
convinced he just
he
doesn't
he
sleep.
will. I think he does, but it's like power naps. He's still working while he's sleeping somehow.
He naps while his computer loads.
That's right. He naps during Blender load screens.
Exactly.
There you go.
So can you for the origin of this trilogy, can you like trace the origin back to like a single thought or a single idea?
Yes.
Ooh.
2021, I was sitting next to the stove in our house. We have a Potbelly stove. I finished reading Iron Widow. And whatever your opinion on Iron Widow is, it has a lot of action. And I thought, wow, I'd really like to write a story with a lot of action because I tend to write like more up till that point I had tended to write more atmospheric pieces.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, I don't really know how to write action. I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. And still sitting next to the stove, I had this very clear thought of I want to write this action story and I want to write an action hero who is struggling to be this action hero character because she's struggling with chronic pain and things that her body's doing that she doesn't understand. And that was the moment I'm like, I want to write a disabled action hero. And it kind of train wrecked itself from there into what it is today.
Yeah, and look at what it's grown into. It's amazing how
The whole thing.
those first thoughts can change and grow into something like, oh wow, it got this big.
Yeah, and I just kind of let it become the things that I wanted it to be. So we have selkies and airships and a mountain god and just all the things that I'm like, I don't know. I definitely catch myself a lot of the time asking like, is this too silly? Is this too weird? I'm like, nah, just roll with it. Just roll with it. Just do it. Just do the things. Let them become. If they're silly when you start, let them become not silly. And that seems to be working pretty well for me at this point.
That's awesome. And I feel like the fact that you're like letting it go with, whatever ideas you have, I feel like is keeping that passion, right? Like, because if you try to force it into a box of like, okay, well, that's too silly, let's cut that out, then I feel like it turns into more of a job than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are definitely some action set pieces in the second book that I adore, and I think there will be a certain audience members who read them and go, I bet this author has watched some anime.
Okay, I was just about to bring that up. I was like, you say it has a lot of action, and you said inspired by Iron Widow, which I hadn't heard about, but I looked it up right now, and the first thing that pops up is a YouTube thumbnail that says "bad?" question mark. Um,
Oh,
but
Oh.
anyways, my question was, what do you take inspiration from for the action scenes in this book?
I used to do wrestling back
Oh,
in the
okay.
day. Is that what you mean, like for
Really
the
like
Ice Moves for No One?
Yes. But I was more so asking like media wise, like is there any books or movies or shows or something that you take inspiration for the action scenes?
WWE.
I love that. That's awesome. That's
there
incredible.
you go.
I'm so sorry. Just like I watched so many scenes of Rhea Ripley
Gotcha.
I
for
mean that's
inspo,
fair.
but I used to do wrestling, not WWE style wrestling, like actually like wrestling like you would do like Olympic style wrestling,
Right, right.
freestyle and folk style.
Hmm.
And that was so fun. And I've had to stop because like my joints will come out of socket.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's just not worth it. But I've also done a lot of sports. I did hand-to-hand sports. I was president of my school's Amped Guard club back a million years ago when schools could have Amped Guard clubs.
What is that?
Um, oh, it's kind of like LARPing.
Gotcha.
You have like weapons that have padding on them so you're not killing people, but you practice like real combat skills. So we
Oh, I
did that for four
see.
years. Yeah, so we did that for the 4 years of high school, and that was really cool. Um, and I also used to be a competitive archer, but the, the arm that I generally hold the bow out with is the arm that is not as great as it used to be. So I'm in the market for a very specific type of wrist brace that can lock my wrist out when I shoot. But
Right. A
yeah, so
bionic
I draw
arm is
for
what
the
you need.
yeah, so for the combat I'm drawing from a lot of real world experience and then definitely some WWE vibes. Um the armor is inspired like the whole armor for the first part of the Ice Moves for No One is absolutely based on artwork by, oh dear, I'm not looking at his name again, so I'm probably gonna mess it up, but like Frank Frazetta, is that his name? Um, he drew this very iconic picture of Eowyn from Lord of the Rings in armor with just her whole butt is out and everyone's butts are out. It's so funny. And I totally base the armor on that shamelessly. Um,
Gotcha.
I'm trying to
Oh,
think of
okay.
media like
I recognize this. Yeah, Frank Franzetta. I recognize this
yeah, just the
artist.
butts. The butts are out.
Yep, butts out.
Yeah, very inspired by that. The first scene where the character is introduced fighting in a tournament, she's basically wearing roller derby gear. Um, I definitely took a lot of inspiration from Gurren Lagann as well for giant machines. I'll just say that.
I am unfamiliar with this. Gurren
It's like the
Lagann.
most anime. That's like the old the best
Oh,
way I can
gotcha,
describe it.
gotcha.
It was it's a limited series, so there's like 20 something episodes. The first, I think like 6 or 7, I was watching it. I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, why are we watching this? Like, what is the point? And then it was doing this really subtle setup and it has this very hard plot shift around, I think it's like episode 7. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, please. But it has
Hmm.
a very hard pivot and goes in a different direction. And to this day, it's one of my favorite shows ever.
Well,
They
okay.
stuck the
So
landing.
it looks pretty cool. And this is where you got the idea for the machines, I see. Because, like,
Yeah, somewhat.
right, right, right.
I definitely like also just went to I went to see I saw the Tetons for the first time, the Teton range,
Mm-hmm.
and the airplane landed and it looked like the mountains just came right out of the ground and I was like, that is, if that's not an earth building god, I don't know what is. So like I get definitely I pull from a lot of things at once, but yeah, Gurren Lagann has these giant machine entities and that's definitely left an impression.
So do you have like a particular song or anything that you listen to kind of like get in the mode for writing in this series?
Oh, do I? I have a playlist. Every project I work on has theme music because that's really how I create. I put on music and I go walk around and I let the scenes kind of play out like a little video in my mind and then I'll go sit and write and then I'll walk around with the music. So for the Ice Moves for No One, the the songs that I can pull from memory without looking them up real quick are The Game from V&V Nation. Um, there's a specific line from that song that I just had at the beginning of the document while I was drafting it. So yeah, The Game by V&V Nation was huge. Um, and then recently, like after drafting quite a bit, I think we were on to final edits. Queen of Kings by Alessandra is very much the right vibe. And then I play a whole playlist from Ivor, um, and Ivar, not to be confused with Ivor, different bands. And then I have on the playlist some like weird steampunk techno remixes of Rammstein songs that are the right vibe.
Gotcha. No, I totally get that when you said putting on the music and walking around and just like seeing the scenes in your head. That's my favorite thing to do. That's how I come up with all my drafts.
It's so good. Yeah, that's my favorite.
I've had even
Yeah, that's how.
I was gonna say I have even story ideas that have come to me just from listening to music. It's like a certain
Yeah.
line or something, it would just hit, and I'm like, oh god, that like sparked something in my head.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what happened to me with cleansing the bloodline angel. As I was listening to Bring Me the Horizon Throne, and I
Oh, I
was like,
love that
oh,
song.
I can turn this into a story.
Okay, well
Yes.
now I'm even more excited to read your book, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, everything I write is very music driven. Um, I should actually put playlists on my website. I just
That
haven't.
would
I
be
don't know.
awesome.
I felt like I don't know. I was kind of embarrassed, but maybe I should just do that because like they all have playlists.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
I mean, yeah, I've seen authors that have like a playlist for each of their chapters.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
I
like
saw
this the dorky character has like her walkout song for when she like goes into the tournament. It's totally a cover of Deutschland by Rammstein.
Oh,
No, that's awesome. No, I saw this book the other day at Barnes and Noble. I was just walking around looking at books, and one of them had like a playlist on the first page. Like it was like these songs go with the book, and I was like, okay,
see,
that's it's kind of cool.
Oh
all
my
about the
goodness.
vibes.
Yeah.
All about the vibes.
Oh my goodness. It's after 5 already.
I
It
know time
is.
What
flies
did
when
I?
we have fun.
Holy crap. I was like, wait, it's like 20 minutes.
You just glance down at the clock and go, oh, okay, we've been talking for a
Like,
while.
oh.
Yeah, no, time zooms when we're doing this. I'm not gonna lie. Well, we can wrap it up here if you'd like.
Yeah, I've gotta go do some work stuff, but thank you so much for having me.
Of course, you're welcome on any time. Just hit us up. Um,
Yeah, it's been great
Thank
talking to you.
you.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah, it's wonderful to meet you. This has been so fun. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you'll listen to me blab and help me promote my odd things,
no,
get
this
them
is
out
awesome.
into
I
the
live for
world.
this. Speaking of getting odd things out in the world, The Ice Moves for No One out June 17th everywhere. Barnes and Noble, Amazon, a couple bookstores they're stocking it in person. I'm not sure which ones, but I'll try to put all the links to your stuff in the description. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Luke, for joining me, and thank you, Arlo, for coming on again. It was great
Thank
talking
you
to
so
you.
much.
Yeah, guys, check out The Ice Moves for No One. See you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.